What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Panther Tales with your host, Wesam. The season is upon us. Training camp is here. It's time to break it down. It's not just going to be me. I know what you're thinking. Thank God. I'm going to do this with some of my friends, and you'll meet them very soon. But yeah, we're going to talk training camp, give you all the latest, give you our takes, and let you know what's going on. So we're going to do this. Now, let me introduce my friends. All right, so we're here talking about training camp. If you guys could go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Lucas. Been a lifelong Panthers fan. The first year I was like really into football was 2008, which was the year of the Jake Delhomme Cardinals game.
Mm,
But that
tough
was the
year.
first year that, you know, I think that was the year that we beat the Chargers on walk off in week
Dude,
one.
dude.
Mm.
Dante
Dante Rosario,
Rosario
yeah,
in the back of the end zone. Yeah,
yeah, that was sick.
that was awesome. We were not like big time projected to lose.
Yeah,
Chargers were going into that season as Super Bowl favorites.
yeah, that was a great season.
Yeah, I mean, like I watched early on. The first season I remember watching was I think 2001, where we went 1-15.
Yeah.
Mm.
We won our very first game against the Vikings and, and then lost the rest.
Yeah.
But was hooked ever since then. I love losing, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, you kind of have to still be here at this point.
And what about you, Will?
I'm Will. I'm also a North Carolina native, but I've been in the Charlotte area for about 20 years, and I became really a Panthers fan after moving here. And I sort of casual, and then I guess starting with the drafting of Cam Newton and the Cam Newton years are really when I became a true fan, and I've stayed dialed into Panthers football since then. Some ups and downs there for sure along the way, but yeah, that's kind of my Panther history.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna go ahead and talk about training camp and break that down for you guys. Uh, so I got some notes, and everyone will chime in. So listen up to this good information. All right. So before the day that the veterans arrived to training camp, there were a couple of interviews. Um, and this is what I kind of gathered from the interviews. Robert Hunt was wanting, even before hearing about Taylor Moton's injury, Robert Hunt was asking for Monroe Freeling, our rookie first round pick from this year's draft class out of Georgia. He was wanting Monroe on the right side with him just so he could teach him and guide him. And he gets his wish. Unfortunately, it comes from an injury from blood clot in Taylor Moton's lung. He should recover at some point this season, but the timetable is nobody really knows.
Yeah, I think it. My concern about that is it kind of just creates this whole mess at tackle where now we've got two players, our two starting tackles are both hurt, both supposed to come back at some point this year, and now, but you're investing in Monroe Freeling by telling him, okay, you're the starting right tackle. Like it's your job.
Hmm.
And but then what happens when Taylor Moton comes back? Whenever it happens in the season, uh, are you going to move Freeling to left tackle? Like, what if Rasheed Walker is doing well?
I think it's just going to be say situation where they do it with quarterbacks. Like if a quarterback gets hurt and their backup comes in and they're hot, you just play with the hot hand. If Walker and Freeling are playing well, I believe they'll just ride the hot hand.
Yeah.
Because
I
we
mean, I
don't, because we
think
don't. Sorry, Will. Because we don't know when Moen's coming back. Like we really don't know. And the thing about a blood clot, that's scary. Sure, he should be back at some point, but didn't they say the same thing about like to Chris Bosch when he got his blood clot, and then that actually cost him his career. So we just have to wait and see.
I mean, from the news that's come out, it seems like he's responded well to treatment, which is great news, and probably means that he'll be back. And I would assume, like you said, that he'll take back over at right tackle. But a couple things there. I mean, number one, like a blood clot in your lung is one of those things that makes you think about how rich you already are, and consider how long your career is going to be, and how long you're going to continue to put your body through something like playing in the NFL. I think that's a big concern. But on the other side of that, what a great amount of foresight or luck or whatever it was that we went tackle in the first round this year. It's obviously paying dividends. We knew probably that Icky was going to be out for the season, and I don't know that there's any projection on his return right now. I've not seen anything that says that there is. And so, I think that was the reason why we went tackle. But man, it's really been a good thing that we did, because we have two serviceable tackles. I think as far as like the carousel, I mean, we had a carousel last year, and I think across the offensive line, and we had varied play. That's for sure. We had some good weeks and some bad weeks, but I really like their resiliency, and they gelled enough every week to be serviceable, I think, and I assume we'll continue to have that kind of spirit.
Sure.
Yeah, and you got Brady Christensen as well. Just brought him back. He can hop out there.
And then you draft the center, Sam, and then you have two good good reserves in blanking on Chandler, Zavala, and there's one other guy that they talked about. I can't think of his name right now. Chris Chandler or something along those lines. Apparently, he's been looking pretty good too. But going back to your Icky point, I just wanted to say that Canales said typically that type of injury is a 9 to 12 month injury. So honestly, he could miss the whole year. And once again, you go out and you get Rashid Walker. He's already a starting left tackle. And they did that because of the Icky injury. But like whether Icky came back or not, I think the intention was for Walker to start the whole year. But my biggest concern was if Monroe Freeling would play or not. Because you draft someone and especially in the first round, the best thing for these players is to get experience. So I was worried damn, he's not gonna play. I'm sure he'll get to learn from behind or whatever, but this isn't quarterback. These linemen need to go and fucking hit somebody. Right. You know what I mean? So honestly thrilled that he's playing, but I am expecting not the same type level of play as Moten. And that's just what it is.
Right. And it sounds like he's kind of been up and down in camp already, which, you'd expect that, of course.
Of course.
And he's raw, but he's, just as Icky's kind of improved over his career, I would expect something similar to that for Freeling through his first few years. But he's definitely going to have to get thrown into the fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's great to your point in the question or the prompt here, it's great that Rob Hunt's kind of taken him under his wing, because I think from what I can tell, he's really emerged as a spiritual leader, at least, of the offensive line, kind of the hype man for the offensive line. And so having that guy, just be your buddy out there as you're trying to learn the NFL and also to play the right side of the line. I think that's it can do nothing but help him. So
and a cornerstone of the franchise you know, at that.
Yeah.
All right. So while Taylor Moton's been hurt, he's been coaching from the sideline, telling people to get lower, stuff like that. So you love to see it. Derek Brown, he's just saying everyone needs to buy in. We have to go to work. Whatever happened last year. Like, this is a new season, but he feels no pressure leading the younger players. And then, kind of same sentiment from Dan Morgan. He wants to build off last year, but we have to earn everything. Nothing is given in this league. So that was his message, and he loves that there's a lot of competition all around, which there is. Like, offensive line, wide receivers, there's competition everywhere. Like they said, Brady Christensen returning, huge. And then thank God Monroe Freeling is a rookie. And I think he only played 1 year in college. Is that what it is? Like, he's new to offensive line or something?
I don't
Oh,
know.
So he could be
I think
like so he could be like a sponge and just like learn the right tackle position, even though he was a left tackle in college. Now, day
yeah.
one, and this will be a common theme that you'll see as the days progress, but it was the first day of training camp, and it had only been 20 minutes into the camp. Our starting pass rusher, Nick Scourton, goes down. All the players surround him, hug him, gets carted off. First thoughts.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts because for me personally, he's someone I was very high on coming out of the draft, and I think maybe he didn't put up the numbers his rookie year that you'd expect, but you could still see his impact on the field, especially later in the season. He just kind of, you could see where he was impacting plays, but not necessarily finishing, getting the sack. But it's one of those things where he's very young and he's going to continue to improve. And this isn't something that necessarily, he's far from reaching his peak and being the player that he's promised to be. So while it hurts the team and it hurts for him, we've got a capable starter in Pat Jones sitting behind him that we
Yeah.
know can step in and do the job.
Yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed that we don't get to see year two Nick Scourton. I mean, that to me, that's a big letdown. But I agree with you completely. It's not necessarily the sort of. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a huge step down in the amount of production that the defense will have. I think it's just kind of disappointing because he's a great prospect, and like you said, he improved last year. We got to see some really great play from him, especially down the stretch. But I'm almost as excited to see Princely get some more reps. I agree with you. I think Pat Jones is more than serviceable. He's going to be great. And so I feel sad that we don't get to watch Nick again, but he'll be back.
The thing about Jones is he honestly didn't get that many opportunities in Minnesota because they had players in front of him. So he was more so rotational. But he was starting to get hot last year before he did get injured in week 4. And he knew like he was pushing himself a little too hard, which is what caused that injury. But yeah, like, initial thoughts sucks because Scorin's he's a big time leader on the team too, and you could
Yeah.
see that, for somebody to be in their second year and to be a leader, like, that just speaks on his character. So losing that is tough, but I'm sure he will be around while players are practicing. I'm pretty sure he was at the most recent practice today after getting surgery and everything. So
Yeah, he's. Uh, I'm curious to see what Princely looks like getting more reps, but there's definitely some competition there as well. I mean, he's. I feel like, in my mind, I feel like Princely's better at least at this point, as more of a situational pass rusher. But you know, if he steps up, then that's what we need. But
Other day one notes: Jonathan Brooks looked healthy. And Bryce Young sounds more confident, even if he still is a little uncomfortable in interviews. I judge Bryce based off of his interviews, whether he'll have a good season or not. And he's still touching his arms a little bit. He's still touching his arms a little bit, but he sounded fine. He's speaking good, well, and like watching him out on the field with his teammates and watching him with the coaches, he looks more comfortable. I still expect a big time season for Bryce in year 4. I think he will become more consistent to where now we are starting to see the quarterback that we drafted number 1 overall in the 2023 NFL draft.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Bryce is the guy. I really do. I've kind of been there the whole time. I'm not saying I haven't had my doubts, but I was a day one Bryce guy, which I know is not everybody, but I think he's a cerebral player, and I think that his physical limitations were not something that was going to stop him from becoming a great NFL player with experience. And he's starting to get that experience, and we're starting to see it. And I mean, things like having the most game-winning drives over the last 4 years in the NFL, that stuff is meaningful. That being clutch, being able to perform when it matters the most. That's the kind of things that makes great leaders. It makes people confident in their leaders, and it makes for great football. And so, yeah, I don't know. I just have every reason to forgive him for the trials and tribulations of the way that he got started at the Panthers organization, the 300 coaches that he's now been under, and just I think there's every reason to believe in him moving forward.
3rd year in the same system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's at this point it's just about consistency.
That's
like
it.
We've seen it from Bryce.
Yep.
We've seen it. We've seen both sides of the spectrum in back-to-back games, constantly. It's just, can you be that guy for a stretch, for a season,
Year 1, bad, except Green Bay game. Year 2, benched, came back a little better after the benching. Year 3, exactly what our record was showing. Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, right? Year 4, let's put it together. And let's do the thing, man. Like was said, it's just consistency, and that's what I'm gonna leave it at.
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead.
My belief in him, by the way, does not. I agree with you completely. I mean, inconsistent play has been his absolute MO. I agree with you 100%. But I just think that there are good reasons to think that he might have been inconsistent that aren't totally related to just who he is as a quarterback. That's all.
I am a believer. There's nothing. I probably get clowned because of my Bryce fandom. Like I love Bryce because I see what he can be. But like, yeah, year 1, who was he throwing to? DJ Chark, Adam Thielen. Who was our even 3rd receiver? Fucking Laviska Shenault. Like, who even was it? Throwing the ass. Nobody was on the team. The offense wasn't built yet. Like the line. It was like horrible roster to get inherited to.
It was,
and like honestly,
the worst possible scenario for him to come into.
But I truly believe that did shake his confidence to where he started year 2. Do you guys remember that Saints game? The first week? Terrible.
Vividly.
And then when he got when he got benched, it was like, yeah, this sucks, but like I just had to listen to what the coaches said. They said they were planning on bringing him back later, so I had to believe that. I don't know if I was at the time. Andy Dalton got in a he secretly got in this random car wreck that kept him out for a week, to where Bryce was about to play Denver. So now we're taking him off the bye week. No more benching. You're starting again, but against Denver. And that could have sealed his career. If he had a bad game, could have sealed it. He didn't have a great game, but he played well enough to at least get another start. And yeah, you build the team around him, you put good players around him. I think we'll see a lot better results. All right.
Also, and I mean,
yeah, go
you
ahead.
know, let's just say the Reaper, he turned 25 this week. So, you know, he didn't come into the NFL super early, but I mean,
22.
you know, you're talking about a guy who's, he's young coming in. He turned, you know, he's going into this season as a 25-year-old with some tough lessons under his belt. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's got some experience, man. In his his 3 years, he's been through the ringer.
His mental has been tested. And what everyone says is he's the same person every day. Cool, calm, and collected. So we just need to see the product now. All right, guys. So day 2, the defense won the day 3-0. Not what you want to hear, but that's just what happened. Princely is expected to step into a bigger role in day 2. That's what was said in the press conferences. But he needs consistency. The coaches need to see consistency. That is probably what kept him off the field last year, or just, to be a situational rusher rather than getting more reps. Bryce and Chris Brazel they were building good chemistry on day 2. Also, I just want to say in day 1, because I'm going to put highlights in this video too. Day 1's highlight was Chris Brazel catch on Mike Jackson. Mike Jackson carries him out of bounds. That's awesome to see, not only for a wide receiver to go up, but for the defensive player to have enough awareness to do a legal play and not allow the catch. It showed 2 great things from 2 hopefully good players. We know Mike Jackson's good, but what did y'all think of that play? Did y'all see it?
Unreal catch, catch, and super, like you said, super heads up play by Mike Jack. But what an unreal catch!
Yeah, kind of reminded me of T-Mac a little bit.
When you see a receiver go up and catch it, that receiver wants the ball. That's all I want to see from X. That's all I want to see from XL. You could catch the ball, but I want to see you do it on a defender with somebody next to you. Dave Canales also praised Dave Canales also praised Kenny Pickett and Mitchell Evans on day 2. Patrick Jones' interview was the most interesting interview that I heard from anybody, and probably my favorite interview to date. But he said his injury strengthened his faith, his football IQ, and motivation. He also said that he's playing at the same weight, but it's more muscle. He burned a lot of fat, but he's playing at the same weight. And then T-Mac is back at his college weight and worked out with Bryce all summer. That was kind of the day 2 recap, if y'all have anything to say.
Is that T-Mac's back up to his college weight or back down to his college weight?
So he says he's back up.
Yeah.
Okay.
He looks bigger than he did in college, though. He looks big. No,
yeah, it's noticeable. And just him at the press conference podium. I mean, you can see it. I think it's good for his game, considering his play style and the type of player that he needs to be for us.
Of course.
I mean, that's something that you want to see him be a little bit more physical on some of those catches and contested plays downfield. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about it.
I mean, not to jump ahead a little bit here, but it sounds like he's going to be used a little bit differently maybe this year, or more consistently, like as a slot guy. And being a little bit more physical is a great thing for that. Being stronger, being able to fight off a bigger defender. It's a good thing.
And I also don't want to jump ahead, but I said he looked big. Chad Johnson was at practice the other day. He looked huge compared to him, and Chad Johnson is not a small guy. Okay, so on day 3, still no pads, but the defense was still ahead despite offensive improvements. XL had a big day on day 3. Canales loves Devin Lloyd's motor. You have to pretty much physically remove him to not have him play. But then I listened to Devin Lloyd's interview, and it was the first time I've heard him speak, and he seems really smart. He's got a level head. Everything that he was like, I have a lot of confidence in our new middle linebacker just from the way he speaks. Uh, like I didn't have a idea of what he was going to sound like, but extremely well spoken. And he actually texted Luke Kuechly, and they have been talking, and I'm pretty sure they've had a film session already just to kind of pick Luke's brain, and if there's anyone to ask questions about the linebacker position, it would be Hall of Fame Luke Kuechly. So I'm glad he's doing that.
Yeah, I read or heard that he requested a playbook from Evero the day after he was signed his contract, and requested a meeting to start going over it. Gotta love that. If he's high motor on the field, it sounds like he's high motor off the field too. And the Carolina Panthers have an incredible legacy of linebackers. We don't have an incredible legacy of much, but that's one thing we really do have. And having somebody folded into that type of tradition is, I don't know, it's exactly what you want to see, I think, if you're a Panther fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was a big hole. I mean,
Yeah.
Not only is he a great player, but the need there, it's perfect fit, I think.
Yeah.
And
I also think Trevor Wallace will benefit from it because he's already a fast side-to-side linebacker.
yeah,
They could do big things.
I like-
And nobody's talked about Trevor Wallace, honestly, and I haven't even heard
Yeah.
anything about him from camp, but he's good.
I think he can make a jump. Yeah, I mean,
He's good.
He's done about what you'd expect from a third round pick, right? I mean, he's been probably, I guess, better than what you'd expect from a third round pick in his first 2 years.
Mhm.
I think he can definitely make a jump.
So we'll go to day 4. A fight broke out between Felipe Franks and Mike Jackson. Canales liked the response afterwards, though. Canales likes to challenge his players, especially when there's adversity. With this fight, he wanted to see how both players reacted. Both of them just shook it off, went back to playing football. Nobody was started headhunting or show bad temperament. So that's good to see. Whenever, look, guys, it's camp, it's hot, it's physical, especially now, day 4, first day of pads. You don't expect it to happen the first day of pads, but it is what it is, as John Fox would say. Yes, Robert Hunt is progressing, but he's still not participating in team drills. And then this is interesting, and I definitely want to talk about this because, once again, we have a hole with Nick Scorton down. But in Jaleb Phillips' press conference, he called Princely the team's best pass rusher. Thoughts?
That's incredible. I think didn't he say he was the best pass rusher, the best natural pass rusher he's ever seen?
I think he called him, the best natural pass rusher or something, which I think, I mean, to what you guys said already, that he's might be kind of a situational guy. It's definitely what we saw out of him last year, was like a real ability to, be a third down guy or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, there's limited we have limited information. I think limited game information on what he's like as a player. I don't uh, but I mean, what a huge vote of confidence to hear that he's the best natural pass rusher that we've got on the team. I mean, nothing wrong
Yeah,
with having a dedicated pass rushing guy.
yeah,
Yeah, it's true that we've seen so little of him. Like
Yeah.
in the games that, I mean, he's never started the game. He's, even the games that he's been a significant contributor in, he's not really, he's still just third down specialist.
you would think with players saying this, we would have seen more last year. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
So that's just a little sketchy, I guess you would say. But once again, Canales just said he needs to be more consistent. Like he just needs to practice hard, and you'll see the field. Jonathan Brooks said he's 100% healthy. And he earlier in the offseason, he said that he's faster than Chuba, but he was a man of his word, and he admitted that Chuba ran a faster time at this event that they were at. So he takes that back. He says Chuba's faster than him. What are y'all thoughts about Jonathan Brooks being back?
I am very, very, very cautiously optimistic, but I feel like it's not something you can bank on as him being that lead guy for the season. I mean, it's kind of almost a luxury, it feels like. But yeah, he looks nice. I mean, he looks crisp. He looks healthy. I mean, there's certainly every reason to be excited about it. It's just, there's always that thought in the back of your mind.
Of course. 2 knee injuries
Yeah, I
is
mean,
nothing to scoff at.
yeah, and this is another guy that we've got really limited tape as a Panther, But I think from what we've seen, he's a good foil to Chuba. He definitely has different skill set. He definitely is a different type of player. I think, and so I think a 1-2 back, another Carolina Panther tradition, a two back thing is it's in the cards, and I think we should be excited about it.
I'm throwing a bold prediction out there. I believe he'll start by week 9.
I think if he's healthy, it'll be before that.
Yeah.
Not to knock on Chuba, but I think
Chuba's a workhorse. I mean, he's not that ultra dynamic player. He's just not. But he's great. I mean, he's great, and he's carried our team in some ways for a couple of years. But he's Jonathan Brooks is a dynamic, fast.
There's differences.
Kind of
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like Chuba's the traditional, works hard and gets results because of that. Jonathan Brooks is more of a just natural football player. You know what I mean? That can make big plays, especially in open space, which is what they've been doing in the practices. Now, Mitchell Evans gets carted off with an ankle injury in this practice. So 4 days of practice, 2 carts. Not a great sign. Well, what are y'all thinking here? Well, why are these players getting injured? Is it the field? Is it just freak stuff? Is it our medical staff? Like what needs to change?
I don't know if anything needs to change. I don't know enough about any of that to have a good opinion on what needs to change. But I think maybe fan perception needs to change a little bit. I mean, the way that the seriousness that you treat injuries with in something like training camp is, if your ankle's to hurt, you sit down. Like you don't play through ankle pain in training camp. It's not the time to do it. Doesn't make sense to. And you get better, you heal up, and you get your dings worked out before the season starts. So I mean, does it stink? Sure, of course it stinks, but I don't think we need to take every rolled ankle to mean that there's some overwhelming problem with injuries.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. Sometimes you just get unlucky.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been getting unlucky though. Like every year it's like something serious with somebody, and I don't know. Like Robert Hunt last year, that fucking sucked. The year before, Derek Brown, the year before, JC Horn. It's like, when are we finally gonna just have our full team? Like, that's all I want to know. It would help. But
Well, when you
go ahead.
draft a running back who is coming off a torn ACL,
Well,
know.
I know that, but the other, like Nick Scorin and
Yeah.
Mitchell Evans, like they didn't have injury history in college. I don't believe J.C. Horn did. It just like that just happened as soon as he started coming in. Uh,
Yeah.
Brown,
Yeah.
he went down like, and then Chad Johnson loves the wide receiver room. He was at day four's practice because he's in Charlotte for a MLS thing, along with Steve Smith. And what I really love about Chad Johnson is he refers to the Panthers as us when talking about us. Um, he played in Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know why he likes us so much, but Chad, you are welcome, and this is for you. Keep pounding, bitch.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see that he's just and like constantly on social media, he's talking about the Panthers, and
Oh, he hypes us up all the time.
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a close friend and former teammate in Steve Smith, and there's a bunch of people like that end up in Charlotte for one reason or another. Maybe he's just trying to, get on board with supporting his future hometown team. I don't know.
I like.
That's pure speculation, by the way.
I will say this: I'm not gonna. I don't think he's a Panther fan. He says like he respects all teams and all this, even though it does seem like he likes us more than other teams. But his main thing was he loves seeing teams getting built the right way, and he truly believes that that's what the Carolina Panthers are doing, and that's the best thing you could hear, especially after so many years of being bad.
Yeah.
That he's like on board with Dan Morgan and company. So let me ask y'all, how do you guys feel about Dan Morgan and Dave Canales since they've been here? Because I think they're the guys too.
Yeah, I think I definitely was questionable on the Dan Morgan hire,
Why?
just because he was assistant GM to the disaster that was at that time.
True.
But I can't argue with the results. I mean, the overall, everything that he's done, he's probably done more good than bad, which as a GM, that's your job,
I think first I really wasn't expecting him to be the GM when they announced it. I didn't because of what you said. He was working with Scott Fitterer.
That was.
I was excited because I watched Dan Morgan play growing up. How well I thought he would do. That wasn't anywhere in my head, but it was cool for me just because once again, Dan Morgan played for us. And then really what made me believe in him was his press conference when he's like, I want to bring in people who love to play football. He's done that. And people need to fear this logo like they used to. And I think we are starting to do that. And then David Canales, I just love him. Um, I feel like he's truly settled into his role as head coach now. Uh, the first years, not that it annoyed me, but he was too happy for my liking to where I think he's bad. Look, it was just too much at times. It's just like, look, we're still bad. Like you can't be that happy, and like, and you did like start to see it a little bit. Like everyone who coached for us, like Matt Rule, happy as could be. Season starts, you see it wear on his ass. Uh, you hire Frank Reich, happy as could be. Week 2, I was like, who is this guy? He looked like he just came out of a funeral. I was like, dude, what are we doing? Dave Canales, you kind of saw it, but then like he settled in. And he's like, okay. I was very happy that I got the NFL head coaching job, but now we're like losing and we got to change shit. But like I believe in his coaching philosophies and his coaching, and I'm actually happy he handed over offensive coordinating duties to Brad Idzik, just because I feel like that'll give Bryce more freedom in the offense to audible. And Brad's going to be working with Bryce all day. It's good for the head coach to be around everybody, you know.
Yeah, I think at the time that Canales was hired, it almost felt like you're maybe he's not quite all the way ready. And that's the kind of thing where you have to expect he's going to learn on the job, and you might have some troubles along the way, but that's exactly what we saw. I mean, you can't ignore improvement, and I think that's what he's given us.
You like him?
Yeah, to go back, I mean,
I do, yeah. I mean, sometimes his personality is like you said, it's kind of, okay, this is like, no one can really be like this. But, I mean,
But he is
seems genuine, yeah.
Yeah.
And seems like he's doing a good job.
Yeah, to go back to the GM, I mean, I was excited for Dan Morgan, although I was apprehensive a bit because of the history, but I was really excited to have a Panther in there, somebody that was like a true Panther. And I mean, if you watch Dan Morgan, or even if you go back now and watch him, there's a couple things you'll find out about watching his tape, which is he's a dog and he loves the Panthers, and I think that's the kind of guy that you want to have setting the tone a little bit for the team. And so, I agreed with his philosophy from the beginning, which is everybody's going to compete for their job. We're going to bring in a bazillion people, which they've continued to do year after year now. We've had a huge rotation, especially in the third and fourth string of players to get the best people. And if you're the best people, then you're going to stay on the team. And if you're not, then, good luck elsewhere. And like, that's a great, it's a great philosophy for GM to have, if not a little cutthroat. I was concerned about Dave Canales coming in and aligning with that and trying to figure out how the two of them were going to be together. But
thank God they worked together in Seattle.
Yeah.
So they had the
that's
history.
true. Yeah, and I mean, they knew obviously better than I ever would. But you watch a press conference with Dan Morgan, and then you watch one with Dave Canales, and you're like, these are two. This is black and white. Like these are not this. These two guys are just opposite ends of the spectrum here. Yeah.
Dan Morgan is such a brick wall. Like, he has the same face in every situation.
I think he is the way he is. Then this is like not making fun of anything. He was wrecked with concussions throughout his career. He probably had like 6 to 10 concussions in his career. So
I mean, he was a middle linebacker at the age that he played in. It's
like my favorite linebacker until John Beeson and then Luke Kuechly. So day 5, Mitchell Evans, after being carted off, it was they said that it was just a low ankle sprain. So good news on that spectrum. So he should be back playing this year. The practice ended with a Bryce to T-Mac touchdown, which is great. That's what you want to hear. Canales says Bryce's comfort level keeps growing. Another thing that we want to hear. But Chris Brazell, Brazel. Sorry, I fucked that up again. Chris Brazel. He was taken off by a cart today. Thoughts?
Yeah, LCL. I'm sad we don't get to see him, but it sounds like he'll be back this year. Maybe after the bye, something like that. I mean, no
Oh, I
reason to
didn't.
rush a
I
guy
didn't.
like that back.
I didn't know that. I thought he was out for the year. I didn't read into it. So it's not a season ending.
No, it's like maybe a 8 weeker, that kind of a thing.
That's fine. That's fine. That. Thank you, Will. That's great news to hear tonight.
Yeah, I mean, even if we don't see him until later in the season, like I'm excited. I'm excited to see him, and disappointment is high, but like, he's a rookie.
And we still got receivers like John Mechie. Like I want to see him and Bryce from
Yep.
the Alabama connection. And then we also have Jimmy Horton Jr. from last year, which we use as a gadget role. And you never know how he's improved. He actually looks bigger as well, size wise, not height, but he looks bigger as well. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I think my concern is just the main reason it sucks is chemistry of the offense, and
Yeah.
history shows, you know, when Bryce can kind of have the same group of receivers for a long stretch, it things tend to improve over that time. So, if it's like week 5 and they're just introducing this, like if the offense is gelling and here comes a new receiver in the rotation, it just, you'd hope it doesn't, they don't try to force anything, but obviously it's good that he's not out.
Mm-hmm. Luke Fortner and Bryce are developing strong chemistry. Luke Fortner is our center who we got in free agency this year, continuing to solidify the offensive line, which they've been doing, which is awesome. And then, so just to give y'all a little bit of history, not y'all, but anybody who's listening. The first year Dan Morgan came in, he rehauled the offensive line. Great. They played a lot better that year. Defense was worse than history, so we were still bad. What he did in the what did we it was the worst defense in NFL history. Uh the second year, what he did in that offseason, he went and got defensive line help. Bobby Brown the third, Turk Wharton, both those guys injured before camp. They're injured right now. Turk Wharton, we barely even saw last year, but he should be coming back soon. I just wanted to throw that out for more injured players. That now gives Hunter. Remind me his first name.
Lee Hunter.
Okay,
Lee Hunter.
that's what I thought. And then Will Lee is our corner.
Well, Lee.
Okay, that's what I think. That's what confused me.
Yeah.
I forgot we got 2 Lees, I guess. But Lee Hunter, so he has to step in now. Second round player. Honestly, my favorite player that we got from the draft. I don't know why. I
Same.
just love him.
Same.
Yeah, don't know
I'm
why.
super excited.
Yeah.
Super excited about him. Super excited to see him and Derek Brown. I mean, I cannot wait.
Yeah, but like Bobby Brown started. We have to all remember Bobby Brown like came on to the
Yes.
Panthers at like 24 years old, and then he started looking really good towards the end of last year, along with Travis Gibson
Yeah.
too. Which once again, this just goes back to the D line injury. I feel bad for Nick, but I'm not ready to like give up on the season or anything yet, because we have other players, different type of players, but other players. But that second year, we got Warren. But the biggest key piece we got was safety Merrig, and he's one of my favorite players, like hard hitting safety. And then this past off season, we kind of like filled it, like just kind of filled out the roster. You get a new backup quarterback, you get some D line, like you get made like actual talent on the defensive side of the ball to add to Derek Brown and to J.C. Horn, who are two All-Pro players already. You put Jalen Phillips next to Derek Brown, and you get Devin Lloyd. That builds a very strong defense. So with these offensive injuries, really what I want to say is I think our defense will be so good that they're going to keep us in a lot of games regardless. Like, I think we're going to see a top 7 defense this year as long as nobody else gets hurt on defense.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
so, man. I mean, we've last year they were good at times, but it felt like there were lots of times where they could have closed out games, and
The pass rush was awful,
yeah, that's
Yeah.
well, which is where Jalen Phillips helps.
yeah, the D line as a whole. I think even with Scorton hurt, I think there's a lot of promise there. It's
Me too.
not something where I feel like in the past we've gone into a year and it's been like, oh, okay, this is not looking like the best group, but I feel confident.
Yeah, I mean, we had a tough year last year on the defensive line, and then we had a tough year middle of the field. I mean, we really just got scorched in, especially that low middle linebacker coverage area, and even kind of lacking a free safety. I mean, we just got burned all year long, right up the seam. And I don't know. I think yeah. I mean, looking at the roster, we've definitely done some stuff to plug the holes in the dam. Reasons to think that will be better. Top seven's an awesome prediction. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I
It's,
think I think this is the most talented roster we have had in a very, very long time. Like top to bottom,
Mm,
like this roster is better than our 2015 roster. I'm gonna say
mm,
like maybe not defense. You're not gonna take away Luke and TD, but
yeah.
there's just a lot of talent that we need to like see these players become the players we think they could be. And if they do, I think it'll be a successful season, but it is going to be a really tough one with the schedule we have. As you guys know, I've been doing a meet the opponent series, so looking at the teams we're playing, it's a tough schedule.
it's tough.
But hey, well, what better way to test us as a football team? And can we be honest? We won the hard games last year and we lost the easy ones. So
Yeah.
I want to see us play against the best. I think we are more talented than some of these teams, and I think a lot of these teams are going to be like the the Panthers beat us.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're this isn't the 2020 Panthers, and people keep forgetting that.
Yeah, I mean they play up to teams. We see it all the
Yep.
time. It's just another year, really.
No, I mean, I think we got a tough go. I think we had some really great games against tough opponents last year, and we played up to teams. We also played down to some teams badly.
Saints.
Yeah, Saints. It's some really disappointing games, and I think going into last year, I don't know how you guys felt, and I might be misremembering it, but I kind of felt like we've got a shot at the division. Atlanta and New Orleans looked pretty rough, and Tampa Bay looked like they were probably going to win the division, but we would have a chance. I kind of feel like this is our year to go get the division. I mean, like it's kind of ours for the taking. It feels like a little bit.
Even though all these sports media broadcasts are thinking we're gonna suck ass. It doesn't make sense. Whatever. I don't even want to talk about that. I'll let you know how I felt about going into last season. I really, really wanted to believe what they were telling me that we've turned the page and they're ready to win, but they've burned me in the past, so I was
Mm,
still very nervous. And then when I saw our preseason
yeah.
games and saw how shitty we looked, I never take an ounce of preseason and think anything of it, but you want to not look like complete dog shit. Um, that didn't like deter me one way or the other, because once again it's preseason, but it's like, okay, hope to look a little better. Then week 1 in Jacksonville, we looked like the least prepared team in the NFL. What the fuck, like what we were doing there, I don't know. Dave Canales' quote that stuck with me last year, and I brought it up throughout the whole season, was this is going to be a team that other teams aren't going to want to play against. So when I saw week 1, I literally said, if I was other teams, I would want to play against us every fucking Sunday. So it was good that they didn't crash and burn again. And that was like the biggest thing of last season, that they had a lot more resiliency than they had in years past. But that's just how I felt about going into last season. Just nervous, but like I am believing what they are telling me this year. And like you said, the division should be ours for the taking, especially like the only other person you would worry about, I guess, is Atlanta, because they have a nice roster. QB concerns, like, and new coaching staff, we'll just see. But then Tampa Bay losing Mike Evans, I don't care what anyone says, like that's a huge loss. Even if he barely played last year,
Yeah.
huge loss. And then Vita Vea now wants out, which I don't know about y'all,
Yeah.
but I was thinking, God, baby. So please get him out of the division. If he's gone, like no reason we shouldn't win. The only thing people are gonna say is, "Oh, but the Saints with Tyler Shuck." Let's see the Saints with Tyler Shuck with teams having tape on them. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I like Tyler Shuck. Yeah, I'm not scared of the Saints.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's just on a bad team, I think, unfortunately.
I will say I feel like the Saints offense might be. They've got some playmakers. I love Jordan Tyson.
Yeah, getting Tyson was a good haul, a good pickup for them. Him and Olave will be nice. Honestly, the Saints might be our biggest competition. But they lost a lot on defense, especially their middle linebacker. If y'all want to remind me his name, I'm blanking. Demario Davis. I am so happy he's gone. I'm so happy he's gone. That's all I gotta say. And Cameron Jordan was gonna leave, but I think he just got re-signed. But
yeah,
he's pretty old at this point. Like, how good could he be? I say this, and then we play them, and he's gonna have 4 sacks against us. So I actually have the Saints on this week's episode of Meet the Opponent. So if you guys want to hear about how good they are, listen at Monday at 7 a.m. It'll be out. All right, just a couple more things from day 5. J.C. Horn is working in some nickel packages, something to keep an eye out on. And Mike Jackson praised Will Lee, who's our rookie cornerback from the 4th round. He does have a nickname, the Blanket. I love that, especially if he can play that way. And he's also wearing number 24, which, as if Panther fans don't know, that was Josh Norman's jersey. That could only bring good luck. Fingers crossed. And Mike Jackson also believes him and JC are the best cornerback duo in the league. I can't argue with him. Can you guys?
Nope.
No. I wasn't a huge believer in Jackson, and he does still scare me at points. But like, he makes a play every game. What more do I need to? What more can I judge him? You know what I mean?
Huh? He gets thrown at a lot.
He does. Yeah.
Because nobody's gonna throw to JC's
which I mean,
side.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. I think maybe, especially if JC starts playing a bunch more nickel, then we're going to find out about Mike Jackson. That's for sure.
Also, word is Charles Smith-Wade is having a good camp.
He always does.
Yeah, I know. He always does. But
honestly, same thing for like XL too. Like oh, he's having an amazing day. Like he wasn't he the camp hero last year?
Mm.
So we'll see.
Uh,
But I'm
Probably.
hoping, he's doing a lot of boxing training, and if anybody knows, boxing is the best kind of training to help you catch balls and play football. So
Where are you at on Xavier League yet? You're saying.
I am not ready to give up on him, but he has not shown me anything either.
Yeah.
Is where I'm at. I would like to see 30 catches, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns this year. And if you can't do that, like there's a
Yeah.
problem. You're in your third, or he's going into his fourth year. No, third year. He's going into his third year.
Yeah.
He's the longest tenured wide receiver on our team. Uh, Even though that doesn't mean anything, like getting T Mac, obviously he was going to be better, but longest tenured receiver, has the most experience with Bryce out of all the receivers. You would hope that translates. It hasn't yet, but also still not ready to give up on him. It seems like he's done the work this offseason. He's lost weight. He is training hard. But like I said earlier, I just like if he can focus rather than listening to outside noise, I think that's the best thing he could do for himself.
I think the Panthers have a little bit to learn about him as much as he does about the game. I think we've seen some good stuff out of him, and we've seen the things that he's just not really that good at. And you mentioned he's the longest tenured receiver, which is something I had not thought about. But I think he's been asked to do some stuff because he's been kind of the guy
And
for a couple of these seasons.
Just a fact check, David Moore might be, but you guys know what I mean. But go
I
ahead.
was wondering about that.
Yeah. I think he's been asked to do some stuff that he's not that good at,
Yeah.
honestly. And maybe with some better talent on the around him, which certainly he has the most talent around him that he's had in his time this year, then maybe with that talent around him, it frees him up to go do some stuff he's really good at, like get down the field and go run a clear and make a play.
He is the receiver 3 right now. If you can't beat their worst cornerback, you don't deserve to be on the
Right.
field, especially at a first round draft. Like he was selected in the first round. So
Yeah, I'm not very high on Leggett. Haven't really been throughout his career, but he has his moments. Like I saw some clips yesterday from him at camp where his routes looked nice and he looked crisp and looked different from how he did last year. But I mean, I feel like he works on his craft. I don't think that is the issue. I think, like you guys said, some of it's the Panthers learning Xavier Leggett. Some of it's being in the right headspace, I guess. I don't know.
the only thing I want to see out of him is what Chris Brazzell showed us day one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
no.
if you're gonna come into the league and say, like, they asked him when the ball's in the air, well, what are you thinking? It's my ball or nobody else's. He said that, but you don't see that. It seems like if it's between him and a corner,
Opposite
the
of
corner
that.
wins. Yeah. And but if he shows that he's fighting for the ball, that's going to be different. If anything, break it up. Like, don't run past it. Stop. You know where the ball is located and do something about it. So, hey, he's just frustrating more than anything to me.
Yeah.
I can't get past every year I look at him and I'm just like, this guy just looks like,
amazing.
He's going to be the guy. Like,
Yes.
He just looks like the guy. Yeah.
It was like last year, it was like, oh, wide receiver 1 season incoming, baby.
Yeah.
And then the Jacksonville game happens. He doesn't come back to that ball, which Bryce gets picked off. There's plenty of times where there's just low awareness and he's out of fucking bounds when he should be inbounds. It's just like this stuff that should have been learned in college. You know what I mean? Like, definitely not mistakes that should be happening in the NFL. So that's where I am on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's what's happened in training camp so far. Lots of injuries, unfortunately. One season ender, one coming, or two of them coming back, even though one should be a little bit later. That honestly, once again, was the best news I could have heard. So thank you again, Will. That we should hope to see Chris. This is what I wanted to say though. So Dave Canales literally said that Chris's knee wasn't feeling right. So they did treatments to try to get him back out there as soon as possible. And then it's that same knee he tore. So maybe if it's not feeling good, like we don't, rush players back. Like,
I think he said something along the lines of it was unrelated, but
Same knee though, but yeah, they
Same
did. I read that same thing. They said it was an unrelated injury, but who knows?
if the
yeah,
if
I'm
the
not
knee's
gonna.
not feeling good, just keep him out for a couple more practices. But once again, good news that that he's not out for the year. Final thoughts,
Right.
fellas. Final thoughts about what's just happened throughout this part of camp. Fan Fest will be this Friday. Uh, I will try to
Mhm.
I'll try to make that if Lucas still has a ticket for me.
Yeah,
Other than
gotcha.
that, there will be other practices that we will discuss and go over, and hopefully everyone, we won't do 5 days to cover because it's a lot, and I want to focus more on a couple days and just kind of break those down because then we could just have more free conversations. Um, but yeah, final thoughts on what's been going on in training camp. Anything that I missed, like who's been flying under the radar but it's looking good. Anything that I missed, feel free to say it here, or any just thoughts in general.
I don't know. I feel like
And
we didn't
that'll
really
do it
talk
for
about.
us. We'll see you next. And now, here are the highlights from training camp. That's it for the first 5 days of training camp. Once again, this is Will. This is Lucas. They'll probably join me again. I am Wesam. As always,
Key
keep
found it.
pounding.
Pounding.
Hell yeah, that's good enough.